Well, this is Dr. Von Cook. I am going to share with you today the new CERT program. CERT stands for Cook's Emotional Release Technique. The new CERT program deals with emotional releases, and these are the things we know about emotions and about technology that we're using. One is it takes your entire body to make voice. And so you can see this is her vocal zone, which is pretty much the whole body. Another thing we know is that voice energy is topic specific. As you change topics, your voice energy actually changes. We've also, over the years, developed a technology that allows us to decode voice energy and plot it onto what's called a perception index. And this is what you see in front of you. And each of those sections in the perception index is called a zone. And each of those zones has associated with it a dominant perception. The problem with perceptions is that they exist for the most part at a subconscious level, very much like an iceberg. Most of the action is below the surface. And there are emotions associated with those perceptions. Not exclusively and not mutually exclusive. There's a lot of overlap here, but for example, if you have a perception of being unworthy, you may feel ungrounded. And if that perception persists, that means that the emotion will also persist. And that's really what happens with most of us, is we live in a subconscious perception state, holding on to emotions beyond their useful life. We also know that we can impact these perceptions from a number of directions. We can change the emotion, we can change the function of body function, we can change the energy. And because of this triad of health, which is part of our physiology, it will have an impact on other things. So everything affects everything. What we've done with CERT is we have taken the Spark Scan voice recording and we have expanded it to include the technology that plots energy into perception zones. And we then identified the three zones that are the most negatively impacted, you could say, or the most concerning. And we then apply what we know with this triad of health, and that is we will run a Spark Scan, and the boost ingredients that we use are vectored or associated to the zones that we have selected. After you see the results of the Spark Scan, you then select the ones you want and you activate the info boost, and the CERT info boost is targeted then to the three zones that we have identified from your voice energy. And what that does is it then puts that energy into your field through a field effect for a 24-hour period. The reason we use 24 hours is because every 24 hours, your body goes through one complete cycle of a circadian rhythm. And during that 24-hour period, you have a tidal wave of energy that will move through all of your acupuncture meridians. And we want this information to be in your field for that complete 24-hour period. The objective and the outcome then is that these stuck emotions become fluid and more appropriate. So when it's appropriate to be happy, you can be happy. When it's appropriate to be angry, you can be angry. You don't have a default emotion that you just subconsciously move to.